What's good, guys? Welcome to Red Corner Boxing. We're here for a quick, brief show called The News Desk, where me and my guest, Sir Chat a Lot of Boxing's Darren, are just going to chop it up very briefly about a couple of topics that have arose over the weekend. First, I'd like to introduce my guest, Darren from Sir Chat a Lot. How are you, brother?
I'm all right, thanks, Jams, and thanks for having me on, mate. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure as always, matey. Absolute pleasure. Just before we get started, we're proudly sponsored by Easy Storage, your place to go for all your storage needs across the United Kingdom. So check them out. Right then, I just want to send a special message to all those affected by the car ramming in Liverpool on Water Street. Sending best wishes and love to you and all your family, and hope you all have a speedy recovery. Right then, let's get into the topics. Thank you, Darren. So we're going to start with David Benavidez has said out loud that he's going to fight either Callum Mundo Smith or Anthony Yard. What's your thoughts on this? Who would you prefer and why?
I think with what we've seen lately from Anthony Yard, I would rather go with Callum Smith because of the Buatsi fight alone, really. I thought it was a terrific fight. Callum Smith looked like he certainly had the grip between his teeth, whereas Anthony Yard a little bit has just, the last few fights just sort of slacked off for me. But I do also think that Anthony Yard is the type of fighter that he's always better when he's got the better opponents in front of him. He seems to go through the motions a little bit for me when he hasn't got the live opponents in front of him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that statement, actually, Darren, to be fair. He's always done better against the world champions. He showed more heart in them than, like, your Lyndon Arthur free fight. It was pedestrian at best, wasn't it? Very boring.
Yeah, definitely was. I mean, even towards the end, he sort of put his foot on the gas a little bit, but he just didn't seem to want to step into it too much, whereas that's disappointing for Anthony Yard, as you said. The Kovalev fight, the Beterbiev fights, he really give it a great go. But like even before them fights, before then, even though he was knocking the guys out, he tended to labour a little bit at times. But now, since he's lost the Beterbiev fight, lost the Kovalev fight, come back, I don't know, he just looks like he's lacking a bit of something for me. Maybe he needs to change trainer or something. Maybe he needs to mix things up a little bit.
It's definitely a possibility, mate. Yeah, he definitely seems to have lost a step. I completely agree. And it's looking more likely it's going to be Callum Mundo Smith. I think that'll be a better fight stylistically. Callum's tough. I think it'll go the distance, but I'd take Benavidez to win by UD, to be honest. What would you say to the result?
Yeah, I'd favour Benavidez to win the fight. But I agree with you. I don't know if he'd get Callum Smith out of there. I think it'd be competitive, but I would fancy Benavidez on points.
Yeah, same. Okay, then. Well, that wraps up that little topic. Thank you, Darren. We're going to move on to Moses Atoma. Obviously, a hot topic at the moment. He absolutely starched Mike Balogun in the second round after doing Dempsey McKean the time before in the first round. Is anyone going to stop this guy? Who would you like to see him in next? There's talks of Martin Bakole. There's whispers of Otto Wallin, Jermaine Franklin. There's some good people out there for him, or even Nelson Heiser. That might be a good one. Who would you like to see Moses step in with next?
I'd personally like to see someone like a Jermaine Franklin and Martin Bakole. I think you're going to need someone who's durable. I mean, I've seen a few mentions of Dave Allen. For me, Dave Allen, he's, with all due respect, he's okay fighting lots of Johnny Fisher and that, but Moses Atoma, when there was talking about Johnny Fisher fighting him, we can see now what Moses Atoma would have done. I just think Atoma's levels above Dave Allen, even at this stage now. I just think he is. Jermaine Franklin, been the distance with Joshua, took Dillian White very close, possibly could have nicked it. Very, very durable guy. I would happily see that fight. Martin Bakole, he's been really highly ranked. Then he got stopped by Parker. Dubious one last time against Ajagba. I'd still see that fight, but Bakole, is he one of them that's, not going to step up to the level that Billy Nelson's been talking about? But Moses Atoma, real great talent. Fast hands, accurate, young, tough. Looks like he's got everything, but we still don't know a lot about him yet.
Got to see what happens when he gets caught on the chin, haven't we, properly, by a big man.
Exactly that. And it's not just that as well. It's also the, what's his engine like? He's gone twice the distance, which were 2 6-round fights. What's he like doing 12? If someone texts him there.
That's it, mate. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. Hawkins Ringside Live's commented. He said Otto Wallin will have a stay busy fight, probably in Texas next after a change of head coach. Well, thank you for that, Hawkins, mate. Right then.
Don't get Otto Wallin in with Moses Asoma. Don't. He'd be dangerous.
Yeah, and he get cleansed. But I like Otto though. I do like Otto.
Just a bit
Right,
negative.
next up then we've got Josh Taylor. We've seen him lose to Echo the Engine Esserman. He complained about the decision. Pretty much, I've watched the fight back, and I think Esserman definitely won the fight. Taylor seemed to think he was winning too much and then coasted, and he let it slide. Who would you like to see him fight again, first and foremost? And if so, who would you put him in with? For me, I think he should retire. Because that's basically 4 defeats in a row if you count the Catchall first fight.
Yeah, I would probably tend to agree with you. I don't think he looks like he's got too much left. He looks like he can start a fight, but not end the fight. His engine's gone a little bit for me.
Fourth round, I can see.
Yeah, to continue the activity level that's needed in a very prolific 12-round fight where it's very active. I don't think he's got a lot left. I mean, you know, the Jack Catchall 3 fight isn't even there, really, is it? It's just, it's pretty much gone. So, yeah, he's had a good career. He's done very well. He's just not got a lot left for me, in all honesty.
I agree. Did you see him slap Sonny Edwards on the head after?
Yeah, I saw that. And a lot of people are saying no, it was on the hand, but yeah, he did look.
Oh, it was definitely on the head. Definitely slapped him on the head.
I thought so, yeah. But
no one deserves it more than we, Sonny. He likes to talk a good game to Sonny, but that's twice now. Anthony Fowler smacked him last year, didn't he, as well? So
yeah, he's definitely got the claptrap in it.
He has, mate. He has. So that's good to see. So we're both saying Taylor should call it, basically, aren't we, for that one?
Yeah, I don't think Josh Taylor's the profile that will want to really step down in levels either.
That's it, yeah. Like Devin Haney's been calling him out. Well, saying how shit he is, you belong in the trash and all that. But I don't know, man. I ain't seen much from Haney that makes him any better at the moment. Let's be truthful. He wasn't exactly impressive against Ramirez.
Well, he weren't, and you know, those of us that appreciate the sweet science, we can appreciate Devin Haney, but he's not exciting to watch.
No, that's it. Right, so we'll move on to the next one then, which is the Ring Magazine's Super Featherweight Top 10 Rankings. I'll bring it up on the screen and I'll read them out. So we've got Oshaki Foster. Excuse me. Oshaki Foster's in at number 1, Emmanuel Navarrete at 2, Anto Kakache at 3. We've got Lamont Roach at 4, even though he's fighting up at lightweight against Tank again. At number 5, we've got Robson Conceição. At number 6, we've got Edward Nunes. At 7, we've got Eduardo Hernandez. At 8, we've got Charlie Suarez, who had that great war with Navarrete, which he should have won, in my opinion, because it was a punch, not a head clash. We've got Albert Batagasiev in 9, and then we've got Ray Ford in 10. Would you agree with that order? And who would you change and why?
Well, from the sort of British perspective, I don't know whether like everyone, a lot of people would have Kakachi up there, but I do like him. I definitely think Shaki Foster for me is number 1. I really, really do rate his style. He's very, very technically sound. Can't really argue with too much of it, but maybe Kakachi's a little bit high at this stage. I mean, you know, he beat Cordina, beat Josh Warrington, he's beat Lee Wood on the domestic scene, that is, but he's still got a bit more to prove on the world scene, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree, mate. I'd agree. To be honest, I think Charlie Suarez deserves to be higher. I think Suarez should be higher because he took Navarrete life and death, and Navarrete's in number 2.
He did. Yeah.
I think that should be higher. I'd probably put Kakache down to about 8 for myself. Very impressive still, but it's definitely not top 3 for me. So that's our thoughts on that then. So we'll move on to the last topic before we wrap this up, Darren. Nathaniel Collins got a great victory over Lee McGregor at the weekend. He knocked him out in the 4th round. It was a hell of a fight for as long as it lasted. Who would you like to see him in next? There's talk of Stephen Fulton. Would you like that fight?
I think you've just got to watch how far that bridge of gap goes, you know, if you know what I mean. Great victory. I actually expected Lee McGregor to nick it on points. It was, like I say, a fantastic fight while it lasted. But Nathaniel Collins is looking a hell of a fighter. I mean, the hype of Lee McGregor when he was starting out his career, and it was, you know, he was expected to do big things, but he did have that. He did have that loss to Eric Robles, didn't he? Which was a bit of a stall in his career. So he has been beaten before. Is it? I mean, he went the distance with Isaac Lowe, Lee McGregor. Is it a case of, well, Lee McGregor isn't as good as what we thought? I'm taking nothing away from Nathaniel Collins. It was a great victory. But is Lee McGregor that as highly rated as what people saw him as to start with?
That's the thing, mate, yeah. DJ Patton Boxing just sent a comment. He's just said, time for Josh Taylor to retire. He's lost his grit and his fire totally. Yeah, I completely agree, Pat. Thank you, mate. Well, yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with you, mate. Nathaniel Collins looks a great talent. Bit too early for the likes of Stephen Fulton Jr., though, in my opinion. I think a few more domestic fights, maybe European level, and then let's see. I just think that's a step too far too quickly.
Well, there's plenty. There is. I've just look. There is like fights out there for him. You know, the Liam Davis fight is a cracker.
Yeah, he's just come back to winning ways, hasn't he, Liam Davis? So.
Yeah, Liam Davis is a cracking fight. You know, he had that blip against Shabazz Massoud, but Shabazz Massoud looks a really, really exciting fighter.
He does.
Technically, really, really good. So yeah, even on the domestic scene, like you say about stepping up to European level, is there any major rush yet? Really, he's got plenty of time. No. So do you have a domestic one? Do you have a domestic one with Liam Davis or something like that next? But I think Stephen Fulton's a little bit pushing it too far at the minute.
Yeah, I'd agree, mate. I'd agree. Right, before we wrap this up, Darren, thank you, mate. There's just one last thing. Rolly Romero, I don't know if you've seen it. He said he wants his next fight to be Manny Pacquiao, which is fair enough, at 147, or David Benavidez at 175.
What the?
So he's talking about moving up 28 pounds to fight the WBA regular and WBC light heavyweight champion. What do you think to that, just quickly, before we wrap this up?
I fancy his chances more against Pacquiao, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mate. But big up Rolly for bringing his sack out and showing the world that he's up for it.
Yeah, but it's just talk. That ain't going to happen. It's
exactly.
Yeah, fancy his chances against Pacquiao, definitely a lot more.
Yeah, let's see how Pacquiao does against Barrios first, isn't it?
Yeah, speaking about Pacquiao, just quick, I don't like the return of Manny Pacquiao at all. He's obviously a fighter, whether it's to do with money or whatever, he can't give it up. But with some of the mishaps you see in the ring and what can tragically happen, you need to wrap it up at some point.
Definitely. 4 years out the ring and 6 years without a win, and he's walked straight in the WBC title shot. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Only in the WBC would that be allowed.
Yeah, absolute shambles.
It is, mate. Well, thank you so much for your time, sir. Chatting Like Boxing's Darren. And make sure everyone goes and subscribes to that channel as well as my channel, Red Corner Boxing. We appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, God bless. Enjoy what's left of your bank holiday Monday.